Hi there and welcome back. Last lecture we covered the 6 core components every agentic system needs. Now we're talking about how to make agents work together. If lecture 1 was about what agents need, this lecture is about how to coordinate them. By the end, you'll know the 5 orchestration patterns and when to use each one, and how to keep multi-agent workflows reliable and auditable. Think of orchestration as the conductor in an orchestra. Individual musicians are talented, but without coordination, you just get noise. Orchestration is the coordination layer that makes multiple agents and multiple steps work together reliably. So when do you need orchestration? Well, whenever a problem requires more than one step or more than one agent. A single chatbot answering facts does not need orchestration, but a loan approval workflow with 4 sequential steps or a claims processing system with parallel checks absolutely does. Microsoft gives you 3 main tools. Copilot Studio flows handle orchestration within a single agent. Azure AI Foundry agent service coordinates multiple agents at enterprise scale. And Power Automate connects across applications when agents live in different systems. Let me walk you through the 5 patterns. For each one, I'll give you a real example in the key trade-off. Pattern number 1, sequential. This is easy. Steps run in order, and each step depends on the output of the one before. Think of the loan approval process. You can't assess creditworthiness until you've validated the application is complete. You can't make an approval decision until you've assessed creditworthiness. So the flow is validate the application, pull the credit reports, run the underwriting model, generate the decision letter. Each step feeds the next. Sequential is predictable and easy to govern because you know exactly what happens at every point. The downside is latency. If each step takes 3 seconds, 4 steps takes 12 seconds, at high volume, that will add up. Pattern 2, parallel independent tasks run at the same time. Think of insurance claims. When a claim comes in, you don't need to wait for the policy lookup to finish before you start the fraud check. You don't need the fraud check to finish before you verify identity. You can run all 3 in parallel. Once all are complete, then you can synthesize the results. Parallel is fast, but it's harder to govern because you need to decide what happens when one of the 3 parallel tasks fail. Do you retry? Do you continue with partial data? Do you escalate? That decision needs to be designed up front. Pattern 3 is hierarchical. Here, a supervisor agent sits at the top and delegates to specialist agents below. The supervisor doesn't do the detail work, it coordinates. So think financial analysis. A supervisor gets a request to analyze a company's quarterly performance. It delegates the revenue analyst to one specialist, expense analyst to another, cash flow analysis to another, competitive benchmarking to a 4th specialist. Each specialist works in their area and returns their finding. The supervisor then synthesizes everything into one executive summary. Hierarchical is excellent for complex domains because you can add specialists without changing the supervisor. And governance is strong because the supervisor controls what gets delegated and what is returned. Pattern 4 is dynamic. Here, the workflow isn't predefined. The agent reasons at each step about what to do next. It starts with research, looks at the results, realizes it needs more data from a different source, calls another tool, evaluates again, and eventually reaches a conclusion. Dynamic orchestration is powerful for ambiguous problems where you can't really predict the path in advance, but it's harder to test and it's harder to audit because the exact path will vary every time. Pattern 5 is event-driven. Something happens in the business and agents react. So, for instance, an order is placed. which triggers an inventory check. If stock is low, that triggers a procurement agent. If the reorder is urgent, that triggers an expedited shipping agent. Events cascade and agents respond. Event-driven is excellent for real-time responsiveness. The critical requirement is idempotency. If the same event fires twice, the agent must produce the same result both times. Without idempotency, you get duplicate orders, duplicate payments, chaos. So here's our key insight. Real solutions mix patterns. You might use hierarchical at the top level and parallel within each of the specialist work and event-driven to trigger the whole process. The exam rewards answers that combine patterns, but thoughtfully. Let me walk you through a complete scenario that combines patterns. A manufacturing company wants an agent system to handle inventory reorders automatically. So step one, inventory drops below some threshold. That's a Dataverse event. So we're starting with event-driven. Step two, a supervisor agent receives the alert and delegates 3 tasks in parallel. The demand agent forecasts 90-day demand from the sales data. The supplier agent checks the lead times and pricing through an MCP connector. And the budget agent verifies spending authority in the ERP system. 3 agents working at the same time. So we have parallel inside hierarchical. And then step 3, the supervisor synthesizes all 3 results. So demand says we need 2,000 units. The best supplier can deliver in 2 weeks at $4 per unit. Budget confirms that we have the authority up to $50,000. Step 4, the supervisor calculates the reorder. 2,000 units at $4 is $8,000, well within our authority. So then the agent will generate a purchase order. But if the order were to have exceeded the $50,000 limit, the supervisor would have escalated to a human buyer for approval. That's the human in the loop for high-risk decisions. 4 patterns in one system: event-driven trigger, hierarchical coordination, parallel specialist work, and human in the loop for the risky things. How do these agents actually hand off to each other? Well, there's 3 approaches. First, A2A protocol. This is Microsoft's, or really Google's, agent-to-agent communication service in Foundry. The supervisor calls a specialized agent directly, passes context, and gets a response. It's fast and synchronous. It's best when the agents are co-located in the same Foundry environment. Second, MCP wrap tools. Agent B is exposed as an MCP tool. Agent A calls it like any other tool. MCP handles the security, the permission checks, logging, and all of that automatically. This is the strongest option when auditability and policy enforcement matter, which is actually most of your enterprise scenarios. Third, shared Dataverse tables. Agent A writes results to a Dataverse table, and Agent B reads from it. This is simpler and inherently asynchronous. It's great for workflows where agents don't need immediate responses, and you want to build in an audit trail. On the exam, MCP wrapped communication is the preferred answer when the scenario emphasizes security and governance. A2A is preferred when the scenario emphasizes speed. Dataverse is preferred when the scenario needs an audit trail or asynchronous processing. Now, multi-agent systems are powerful, but fragile if you don't design for failure. Here are the patterns that keep them reliable. 1, circuit breakers. If a specialist agent fails 5 times in a row, stop sending it requests. Use cached data or escalate. Don't keep hammering a broken service. Retry with exponential backoff. If an API call times out, don't just retry immediately. Wait 1 second, and then 2, and then 4. This gives the service time to recover instead of making the congestion worse. So on the other hand, never wait forever. If the demand forecast agent doesn't respond in 30 seconds, assume it's stuck and escalate. Without timeouts, one slow agent can stall your entire workflow. Have fallbacks. If the primary model is unavailable, switch to a simpler rule-based approach. It won't be as good, but it keeps the system running. Something is better than nothing in some cases. Next, observability. Log every handoff between agents. Monitor latency. Set alerts when failure rates exceed the thresholds. And use Copilot analytics and application insights. Without observability, you're flying blind. The exam tests these patterns because production systems fail. The question isn't whether your agents will encounter failures, because they will. It's whether your design handles them gracefully. All right, so 4 key points to take with you. 1, 5 orchestration patterns: sequential, parallel, hierarchical, dynamic, event-driven. Know the trade-offs and when to use each. 2, real solutions combine patterns: hierarchical at the top, parallel within, human in the loop for risk. The exam rewards this kind of layered thinking. 3, agent communications happen through A2A for speed, or MCP for security, or shared Dataverse for async workflows. Match the method to the requirement. 4, governance patterns like circuit breakers, timeouts, retries, and fallbacks prevent cascading failures. Design for failure from day one, not as an afterthought. Now that you understand how to orchestrate agents, let's talk about building them. In the next lecture, we'll dive into Copilot Studio, designing topics, actions, flows, plus orchestration methods and agent types the exam specifically tests for. I'll see you there.